This is a story of the Cochituate Rail Trail in Natick and Framingham. The trail that so many enjoy today has been 25 years in the dreaming and the planning. Its success is a testament to vision, enthusiasm, and persistence. Thanks for coming along on this ride. The first of many work products was the 1999 reconnaissance study from the Boston MPO. Authored by Kathy Buckley Lewis, the study concluded that the right-of-way was well suited to a rail trail. It was a glimmer of hope that helped spark the enthusiasm of several early advocates. Many people in Natick and Framingham participated in this project in the 1990s. Mary Yale was the first chair of the Framingham CRT committee.
I had just bought my house in Saxonville in 1999 and was working at MathWorks, and I realized that the surface streets that I was biking on to get to work could be replaced by biking on a rail trail. So that was the vision, and I had connected with others who were already starting to build this trail. So the Framingham Bicycle and Pedestrian Advisory Committee spun off a committee specifically for the rail trail. And what I remember from those early years is a lot of meetings.
John Brennan was an enthusiastic volunteer and a longtime member of the Framingham CRT committee as well.
Based on my experience with other trails, it seemed to me that this was the perfect combination of both recreation and transportation. And that's why, and I came to the conclusion that it had the potential to be one of the finest trails in the state, if not the finest. And that's why I got involved, and that's why I stuck with it for 17 years.
Mark Lamkin was also chair of the Framingham CRT committee and did so much work to bring this forward.
The rail line actually was owned by the Mass Turnpike Authority at the time and the MBTA, so we had to negotiate all permits and access to the trail through them, as opposed to CSX, which is what Natick had to do. So we had other problems that Natick didn't really have, but we constantly met with these state organizations. They welcomed us. They were helpful in granting us permissions to get on the trail for the cleanup days, to lead tours when we needed to.
Today the trail runs just under a mile and a half from Saxonville to the Framingham-Natick boundary on Route 30. In the early 2000s, there was significant encroachment by an industrial abutter who wanted to acquire the right-of-way. Advocates successfully pushed back, and there were many work days when volunteers helped to establish the future trail. There's a lot of sweat equity in the CRT. The Framingham section was accelerated when the town decided to use the right-of-way for a sewer project. After acquiring land from the state and with TIP funding, the 2014 groundbreaking marked the start of construction in Framingham. Among the participants was the late state rep Chris Walsh, a champion of trails, and the late Frank DePaula, who served in many leadership roles at MassDOT and the MBTA. Today, TJX, whose headquarters are seen to the left, is one of many major employers whose workforce and visitors will use the rail trail for commuting and recreation. Erection of the bridge over Route 30 was a milestone for the project, captured by the GIS division of the Natick DPW. Their drone video and photos have been a great resource. The Natick section of the CRT was jump-started in 2006 when the last freight customer closed down and CSX abandoned service on the line. Natick created a task force to investigate the potential for a rail trail and to initiate community outreach and the design process. The task force and later the advisory committee built on the work of volunteers like Dick and Jill Miller and George Eckert and Stephen Broadley.
We helped start the Bicycle and Pedestrian Advisory Committee in the later part of the 1990s. I think a big part of our emphasis was making Natick safer for getting around, for families and anybody who wanted to get around safely on a bicycle.
Stephen Broadley designed the CRT logo.
We had been discussing on, giving it an identity, a brand, and the idea of a railroad crossing sign, I wanted to keep true to that, but also make it like a bicycle wheel.
The CRT runs through DCR's Cochituate State Park, which will soon have a trail connection running through the park, connecting to the CRT at a new park entrance. The trail makes good reuse of granite blocks from the old Route 9 bridge abutments. Before it closed in 1999, the Continental Bacon Company plant in Natick was a major employer. The Wonder Bread spur was essential to their operations, and the name has been preserved on the rail trail. The spur now connects to the Natick Mall, the largest enclosed shopping center in New England. The mall includes over 200 apartments and is expanded beyond traditional retail. There's also a multi-use path around the mall and many opportunities for future connectivity. The design of the trail takes great advantage of Lake Cochituate, with 3 scenic overlooks. Through a partnership with the nonprofit Friends of Natick Trails, the town of Natick has received over $100,000 for a revolving fund for trail maintenance and enhancements, from signage, bench sponsorships, and commemorative bricks. One of the largest employers along the trail is the MathWorks. They built this 1/10 of a mile connection even before the CRT was paved, and they have a new bike share system that connects their 2 Natick campuses. On a typical weekend day, over 1,000 people use the Cochituate Rail Trail. We have a counter on loan from the Metropolitan Area Planning Council. It's great to have this data, which we share with MAPC and MassDOT. We found that the counter actually undercounts people when they walk or run or ride their bikes side by side. People are using the trail for commuting, for exercise, for socializing, and even for hockey practice. Erecting the new bridge over Route 9 was a milestone for Natick, but before then we made good use of the old railroad bridge. In 2017, volunteers from the New England Council of Carpenters laid down plywood for a safe temporary crossing. Today, crossing the bridge is a transformative experience. The trail is a great community asset, and we've tried to bring the region's rich history forward with the enthusiastic participation of the Natick Historical Society through a series of 13 interpretive panels that cover transportation, water, geology, indigenous history, and much more. Terry Evans is a board member for the Natick Historical Society and the editor of these panels.
It gives a chance to tell the story of Natick, of the line that used to run here, and the connections back to Natick's history that everybody can draw from them in a contemporary context.
As the trail runs through residential areas, we encourage people to respect the concerns of neighbors. Some welcome the trail, but there are some who regret their loss of privacy, especially over the years since freight service ended. To create this trail, Natick bought the land from CSX for over $6 million, about half of which was funded through transferable development rights funding associated with projects in West Natick, including the Natick Mall expansion. This was hotly debated at town meeting. There's a lot of change in Natick. The CRT is emblematic of the community's transition from manufacturing and farming to technology and housing. But the appeal of the trail to people is apparent. It's provided access to the outdoors that we have seldom had before. There's a lot of rejoicing. The CRT passes by the Natick Soldier Systems Center, a major research and development site for the nation's armed services. A multi-use path here was constructed in 2014 as part of a MassWorks project to improve access to the base. The roadway was dedicated to the late Major General Harold Greene. And there's a lot of transportation investment underway in Natick, including a reconstruction of Route 27. This at-grade crossing will be signalized soon. And then the CRT will connect to a newly accessible Natick Center MBTA station, to Natick Center at street level, and to West Natick neighborhoods. As evidence of the community's change, many former industrial sites now provide multifamily housing. That includes the former storage company that was the last freight customer for their Saxonville branch, and Natick Madeira, seen at left, which replaced the former Natick paperboard factory. These housing developments will all have accessible connections to the rail trail. The town is so fortunate to have resources to improve parks, like this field alongside the CRT. After all the planning and design, the meetings and the votes, and the cussing and discussing about funding, the best evidence of the CRT success is in the reaction of everyday people.
The rail trail is great. It's a great place to bring a stroller and a kid, and just another fun spot to go for a walk on a nice fall day.
Oh, this is great. It's getting me out and active. It's a beautiful trail. Love the water on both sides and just how accessible it is.
Hi, Reggie Lee's here. What an asset for the town of Natick. I love it. Best part, no hills.
I love this trail. It's the best in the Natick area.
I love walking out here. It's great to get away. There aren't a lot of places to do this, and we're so fortunate to have the opportunity to use a trail like this.
And you can be out on a beautiful day, no traffic, enjoying the great weather and the beautiful scenery.
I use it as many times as I can.
And this is Lemon, who loves it too.
We love the rail trail for all seasons. We haven't been here in the winter yet, but this summer and the fall so far, it's beautiful today. And it's well maintained. That's what we love about this.
This project is the result of so much work, including volunteers and staff in Natick and Framingham, construction crews, consulting partners, the MPO, MAPC, and the project team at MassDOT. Thank you to all for helping to make the Cochituate Rail Trail a reality.